Okay, hey guys, and I wanted to do lesson A here. This is a gun owner's responsibility. Americans, they enjoy a right that citizens in many other countries do not, the right to own firearms. But with this right comes responsibilities, and basically this paragraph is telling us to be responsible with our guns and keep them safe, and just overall. Gun owners responsible to ensure that unauthorized, untrained people don't access them. It is gun owners' responsibility to learn and obey all laws, and also it's the gun owners to understand that they're unsafe, they're not unsafe by themselves. Only when we learn to practice responsible gun ownership, then guns are safe. Now we have a few reasons to actually, if you would own a gun, and you wonder why. Well, these are for all the anti-gunners. There's recreational shooting. There's competitive shooting. There's hunting. There's protection of self and the family. There's gun collectors. A lot of people are gun collectors. And you want to exercise a constitutional right. It's a constitutional right. That's why we own them. Not because we have to or we don't want to. But I mean, if you look at these are reasons you can give any anti-gunner. So it's recreational shooting, competitive shooting, hunting, protection of self and family, gun collecting, and exercise of a constitutional right. It is our constitutional right. Now there's a few different types of common pistol action types. We have a semi-automatic. We have the single action revolver. We have a double action revolver. Those are the common pistol action types. Okay, we're going to start now with the main parts of a revolver. The main parts of a revolver, we have an action contained within the frame. Inside the action is all, like underneath here, is all your parts of the firing pin, mechanisms, the hammer blocks. Even behind this little cylinder lock, there's parts. Okay, this is the action in here. We have the frame, which is the barrel, all these parts as I'm tracing it with the mouse here, as you can see that. That's the frame. We have the barrel, which is this part here. You can see there's a little line there. That's your barrel right there. And this part here, it would screw into the part of the frame. Now, we also have revolver frame components. And let's show you some of these revolver frame components. And here they are. You have on the revolver, this is the frame, the components of the frame. We have a rear sight. We have a back strap. This is what you'll be putting in your palm of your hand. We have this part, which is a grip panel, where you put your grips. There's one left and the right. And it's just a little screw that holds it in. You have, see where these finger grooves are? That's the front strap, where your front fingers grip around. You have a trigger guard, which is part of the frame also. That would protect your finger from inadvertently touching the trigger, and it would prevent your finger from falling off the trigger. This holds it in, so it serves two purposes there, and it's pretty commonsensical. So, we have various parts of a revolver barrel. Now, the revolver barrel is actually part of the frame, as you see that. Unlike a semi-automatic weapon, which we'll see. Here's your chamber, and the chamber is in the cylinders. See? These hold the bullets. So when you're looking at this here, that's basically holding the bullets. Here's your chamber. It's a rotating part. Chamber and cylinder with your cartridge, and there's a cartridge and there's the bullet. We have a rifling, which has lands and grooves on it, front sight, and a muzzle. Lands and grooves are actual, we'll be getting to that next, are actually indentations inside the barrel. Okay, here's your lands and grooves. Here is a land. It's flat like a plateau. Just remember land. A groove is like a valley. Lands and grooves are twisted. They have a certain twist to them. When the bullet comes through here, it spins, and that helps it come out straighter and picks up a little speed. Rifling, and that's the rifling. That's a combination of the groove and the land is rifling. It's spiraling. Lands and grooves are engraved the bullet, so it gives it spin as it travels through the bore. And that's how you can identify it in a case where somebody gets shot. They can look at the groove pattern on these from coming through the lands and grooves because they're all different, and they can find out which gun was used in that crime. Okay, let's look at some double action. The double action revolver. The double action revolver actually has a few parts here. You have a cylinder latch release. You have a hammer spur. You have a hammer. And going back to here, here's the hammer spur. You'd pull that back. Here's the hammer, and it has a firing pin on it. Just wanted to show you that. The cylinder, which holds the bullets. An ejector rod, which I'll show you here. You could eject the empty cases out with that. That is basically the double action revolver. Single action revolver is another one. Single action revolver, they're showing basically two types. You have one with a cylinder, which you can pull out the cylinder, you push this ejector, and same thing like the regular revolver in a single action. Ejector rod, a cylinder, a hammer, a spur, a trigger. There's also the other kind that has a little loading gate, which you would open and put your bullets on. And when you open them, you could exit your spent shells out there too. Okay, so there's single action revolvers, single and double action revolvers. Okay, basically we have single and double action revolvers. There's two types. You have a single action revolver. The trigger performs a single action. Releasing the hammer must be manually cocked for each shot. And I'll go back to my diagram here. That would be similar to like a single action. See how it's cocked back? You pull the trigger, then you would have to cock it back, pull the trigger. That would basically be a single action. That's kind of what you would have to have. A double action, the trigger performs two tasks, both cocking and releasing the hammer. Most double action revolvers can be also fired as single action mode. So in a double action revolver, you would not have to have this back here. It could be like this, and you would pull the trigger, this hammer would go back, and then it would fall forward and fire. So you would not just have to cock it back. Okay, let's go to the main parts of a semi-automatic pistol. A semi-automatic is similar but different. It has a slide. Okay, there is no barrel on this. It's just a piece of metal with something to grab your shell and push it back in, and it slides back and forth on the barrel line. There's some rails on the side here. You have the action slide parts within the frame. The slide has parts within the frame. The frame, again, you have a trigger guard and a barrel. And we're going to be going, I'll show you where that barrel is in a minute, and I'll be referring back to this, but the parts of a semi-automatic pistol. There's the frame, parts of the frame. You have a back strap, just like on the revolver. You have a front strap. You have the grip panels, and you have a trigger guard, basically the same. And we kind of went over those and what those are for. Now the difference here is this is the barrel, okay? The barrel of a semi-automatic. And if you look at this compared to this, see how that is? This is all one piece, okay? We'll go back there. Here, the barrel comes out. There's a chamber that holds a bullet. That's like the cylinder in a revolver. Here's the same thing, lands and grooves, and the muscle. That's all the same. You have locking lugs. These engage the slide. That's that square part that goes on top of it. And the same thing, you have your lands and your grooves. Basically the same thing as in the revolver. Now we'll go to the semi-automatic pistol action parts. Action parts, like I say, are all the mechanisms that are going to, other than the frame. The frame holds it down together. There's the double action and single action semi-auto pistols. Single action would be like a 1911, where you have to cock it back like the revolver, pull the trigger, then it would go back, then you pull the trigger, then it would go back. So the first time you would have to cock it back. Single action revolver, you have to cock it back every time. Okay, so you have the hammer spur. This is for cocking the hammer back, the hammer. A safety, some have safety, some don't. Most of them do. Slide stop to stop the slide. Takedown lever, some have them there. You slide this down and pull the slide off. It gives you access to the barrel to clean it. There's the slide, the trigger, a magazine release. An automatic weapon has a square magazine with bullets in it. It feeds it up in. So when you press this, that would release the magazine that has the bullets. Functions of a semi-automatic: extracting the fired case from the chamber and ejecting from the pistol, cocking the hammer or firing pin, and feeding the top cartridge in the magazine. That's the functions of the slide. That's the functions of the slide. It extracts the fired case from the chamber and ejects it from the pistol. It cocks the hammer or firing pin, and feeding the top cartridge, like I said. And this is the slide here. Okay, here's your slide. So the functions of this slide is when this goes back, there's going to be a bullet here. It's going to feed the bullet, and through this hole, it's going to eject the spent case. So that's basically the functions of a slide: extract the fired case from the chamber and ejecting it, cocking the hammer or firing pin, and feeding the top cartridge in the magazine into the chamber. Causes of the firearm accidents. Accidents is ignorance, carelessness. Just remember those two. Here is 3 basic rules, and you want to remember these. Always keep the gun pointed in safe direction. Always keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot, and always keep the gun unloaded until it's ready to fire. Okay. Here's a safe trigger finger position. Yeah, see where it has the finger here? You want to have that up higher, actually. I would say right up about here. They've got it kind of low and it's kind of tilted. I wouldn't even have it there. Have it right up about this high up near the slide. When you're not firing, you could have it up this height. It's good to just have it with the pistol pointed in a safe direction. The index finger should be placed alongside the frame of the pistol, above and away from the trigger guard. This is kind of pushing it the way we've got this finger. This is kind of like an incorrect documentation. I would have the finger right about there. That would be much better. So basically, we went through several different information on the safe use of the parts of the gun, and I hope this was educational, guys. And just remember that your other countries don't all have these rights that we do. And I hope this was educational, guys, and keep an eye out for some more lessons and videos on there. Trying to educate everybody. Okay, let's go through the revolver. Like I say, the revolver, here is its barrel, and this is the cylinder. There's a lock that you just slide open, and your bullets will actually go into these chambers. Actually, just put them into there. Then once you shut it, this will go back, and in there is a hammer. Now you probably see the little pin when I do this. See that little pin? I'm going to do it again. That little pin in there hits the cartridge and fires it. Now, in a double action revolver, you can do this. In a single action, it has to be cocked back like that, and then the trigger pulled, and then cocked back, and the trigger pulled. Okay, all double action revolvers are a single action and double action. You can do that either way. Like I say, there's your sights, and there's a sight picture too to show you real quick. But that's going to depend on which type of gun you're going to get, and it's either going to be a revolver or it's going to be a pistol, which is an automatic. So this just shows you some basics of it. And same thing with a revolver. They want you to pick it up like that and put it in like that, sort of in your hand. You keep the finger off the trigger until you're ready to fire. When you do fire, it's long, steady, and the gun should surprise you. Okay, but I wanted to show you that, and that is the revolver. For those of you who haven't seen one, but this is a revolver. Thank you. Okay, let's go over a few parts of the automatic. And this is basically how you're going to hold the automatic myself. But normally when you pick it up, they want you to pick it up with the left hand, engage it in like this, okay? But I'm going to go ahead and show you that it is empty. Okay, there's a magazine which holds your bullets. Right now it has a dummy round in it. Okay, a dummy round is a bullet that's not real. It's just for shooting. It has a plastic little end there, but that's basically how your bullet would look. Okay, like I say, the automatic has a slide. I'm going to take this apart and show you real quick some components inside of it. Okay, this is your slide, okay, and the slide, the barrel, see, like I say, not like in a revolver, it's not the same. As you can see, I'm going to take this off, just don't worry about that. But the barrel is one piece. So this barrel, as you can see, the chambers in there and your lands and grooves are inside there. And this is the slide. So what happens, the barrel is actually stationary. It locks in like this. Okay. It locks in, just like this. Okay, it's held in. And what happens is, when you put your magazine in, you can see, actually what we'll do, this will make a lot more sense. Put a dummy round in there. Put that up. And you see the bullet? Like this? And here's, okay, what happens is, the slide rides against here. So as the slide goes forward, see that there? This bolt face takes this round and pushes it up into there. Okay? Then this hammer hits the firing pin there and fires it. Now I'll show you with it together real quick. Get this here. And I wanted to break this up so you can see it intelligently and understand this. And put the barrel in. This one. Okay, so you see the slide. Now you see how that goes, right? This is going to hit there, so I'm going to slide it in. And I'm going to, you have to do this stuff. Lock it down. There's a lock. Okay, so now it's back together, as you see. You press that trigger. There, that's double action. In the semi-automatic, you can now, it would be, that's single action. Okay, so we'll put the bullet in here, which is a dummy round. Okay, I'm going to just put that back so you can see. If you look in there, as we put the round in there, the round appears there. Okay, so when we pull it back, it goes forward. Now, that pin with the face of this is lined up. So when you pull that trigger, what's going to happen, that is going to hit this pin, it's going to hit it. Then this will come back again, and we'll eject the shell. And if there was another round in there, it would go ahead and drop back down. And then you could fire it again. Okay, that is the function of the semi-automatic. Okay, that is how that works in a revolver. So you see, and there's a, like I say, we went through the different components of it. But picking it up, they always recommend, so say your gun is laying like this. They recommend pick it up with the left hand, like this, and like this. Over, okay? Not over here. So if it was here, over. Okay? And you keep your finger here. When ready to fire, you press. But they want you to keep your finger like this. Okay? You can hold it like this, put your fingers over like this for, that's a good position. But that kind of gives you an idea. And depending on what gun you decide to get, that's going to make a decision too. But this is for the automatic. Thanks for viewing this. Now I want to include some differences. As you can see, this is an automatic, this is a revolver. The automatic is fed from a magazine. Okay. The barrel is fixed to the gun. So, yeah. This is the barrel, it's fixed. Okay, it's fixed. The slide actually moves back and forth to load your bullets. Okay, that moves back and forth. The barrel is one fixed piece. The revolver, the barrel is also fixed. This is the barrel from here. It's right about there. It's screwed in. This is the barrel. And you feed it with your cylinder. And that's where you put your bullets in this cylinder. So this is not the right size, but they actually go in like that. See? Okay, so your bullets would go into the cylinder. And then this is your release. And on a automatic, this is actually a release from the magazine. Okay, and that's how they are loaded into the gun. something like this. Okay, so like that. It's kind of how they are loaded into the gun. They also have a sight. You can see there's the sight picture. Okay, so take a look at that, and this is giving you a basic difference between a revolver and automatic. Revolvers are usually 5 or 6 shots. Automatics can anywhere from 6 to 15 rounds. It just depends. So thanks for looking, and I hope this is interesting.